this in the folder with the documents for this, and it says 2014 region average. The 2015 funnel efficiency, all right, that is this one, 2015, so that's in your folder, has the proper numbers for the Southwest region, all right? So that's on there. Now I sent a picture, once I put the divisional numbers together, I sent a picture to have the division, so that way you didn't have to look up the divisional numbers if you wanted to compare. Because what you want to do is look at the territory that was in your office last year and put the office numbers here. We have decided, we made some changes, and I told you guys yesterday, and for the summer, we're gonna do a little moving around, which Miss Nisa will, I guess, find out when she gets here. But we're gonna put, I spoke with Francisco. Instead of putting Francisco in Lake Jackson, we're gonna move him over to Clear Lake. We are going to increase Miss Adriana's territory and move it a little bit more north. So she's on the mainland and can pull from the island. It has a little bit more territory north into the Friendswood area. So she'll have that and be ready to compete and dominate. And then we're gonna move Nisa over to Lake Jackson to take advantage of Lake Jackson. So we're ready to rock for the summer. And if you want better territories, just give me money. You know, Francisco gave me $1,500, so I was like, you know, it's yours. All right, I'm just kidding. But definitely, no. Made out to Kathy. All right. No, I'm just kidding. But excited to have great areas and great spots where really our branches can compete on a bigger level. You know, like a lot of recruiting room. And by the way, this is going to be the last year that it's going to be, I guess, this easy to get a great spot like that, a bigger spot that has more recruiting. As we move, I was talking to MBR about this last night. I said, you know, this year, it's let's go show what you're made of. Next year, depending on what's open, like it's prove yourself. Say, hey, I want to go here, I want to go there. And so this year's like earn your spot for next year. Where do you see yourself? So this year's not necessarily where you're going to be. Some of you guys might see yourself. He's like, I'm good to go for the next 2 or 3 years. But you might be at, when I moved to to Sarasota, when I was a DM there at first, it wasn't necessarily where I wanted to live long term or build a business long term. But that was my chance to really prove myself and show that I could earn a better spot. And I crushed it over there. And I was fine being there for a while, but then a spot came up and they said, hey, do you want Fort Lauderdale? And so I moved over to Fort Lauderdale in a bigger recruiting territory and was able to make some big things happen there. And then, you know, have my first $1 million year there when I moved, and then 1.5 mil, and then I moved to Miami. So just creating doors. But next year is the last time. So you guys are in the best place, because really I think about next year, we're gonna have our strongest pool from you guys and from all the new candidates who will get to lock down their spots that hopefully no one's moving for a while. You know, like when I went to Fort Lauderdale, I was there 05, 06, 07, 08. You know, then I moved to Miami that summer, 08 until right now. Putting yourself in a position where you can really build something that's built to last long term. So wherever you're at right now, some of you guys are excited DMs to be there for a while. Some of you guys, hey, let's prove your grounds and then see what's open and find the most exciting spots for you, so we can really build this division in a big bad way. It's only going to get more and more and more competitive for everyone else that comes through. We have this place on lockdown, so I'm really excited about that. But so we have the numbers for efficiency. So you guys can do that. So in terms of the business plan, so walk through. If you guys, first page, I mean, that's just self-explanatory. That's for you, and just really, obviously, any questions on that? We're just gonna like rip through here with the business plan. Put your planning, and boom. All right. And this is, by the way, this is a more extensive business plan, and I'll tell you some parts that we'll do together and things that you need to do on your own. So this right here. The front you fill out on your own. Then summer mentality. All right, some of you guys were not managers last year. Maybe it's things that you saw from your manager, or you can leave that blank. But you know, what do you feel? Definitely, I want to know, what are your biggest fears for the summer? What are your greatest strengths for the summer? All right. Then it says, how can your BDM assist you currently to have your best summer ever? I need to know that, and I'd love to have these before CAP, or at least take a picture of that, or send that part to me so that I come best prepared to help you when I meet with you, especially veterans. Then, you know, it has, if you're unhappy with how sales, with recruiting or sales results, how will you respond? What immediate actions will you create results in CPO? You guys tell me, because this is whenever, if at any point you're unhappy with recruiting or sales results, what do we do?
Recruit more.
How?
Reach out, flyers, make up plans.
Go to campus, go off campus, go to bowling alleys, go at night. I remember when I was in Sarasota, we went to like movie theaters, bowling alleys, areas where there's a bunch of restaurants, Applebee's, all these things, and hit the cars with flyers at night. Games, we've been going, like they just went last night to a baseball game or something. There was a track and field event this morning up in north part of Houston in the spring that had a bunch of the different high schools from the area. There's a big track and field event. Have you guys looked those up? We looked up a bunch of high school events that are happening right now. So if you could go hit some of those and start getting our high school, getting word out to our high school kids. What I told you guys earlier that we're doing, and we'll go through Rep Driven, is reaching out for the receptionist position, which we're going to PR all their friends too when we put them through the interview. But she's been sending out, or since yesterday we started with one of our high schools, sending out that message that I put up. And we have, sharp, stinking girl from Houston. She's like, I know Lisa. Like, one of my best friends was there, the counselor there. And I go to church there. She's like, oh my gosh, yeah. She's like, I have another friend actually too. We're like, get him in. And just start, and you can do that at any time. So definitely rep-driven PR, targeting people for PRs, calling old lists. There are people, you might get into the end of June or July, and there are people that might have said no before that weren't interested or had a job that end up coming back. So it's like, hey, by the way, we're looking to fill 1 to 5. So when I go into late June, July, as I'm setting up for SC2, one of the things we'll do is call a lot of a list, or we'll text. And by the way, this is, again, one of the reasons why those who were here yesterday, I was talking about having cell phones for PR lines. We're going to get to that when we get to the PR, to the phone structure. There's a lot of power in it of having. And if not, you can have 2 different rollover systems. But a lot of kids that we're targeting are not used to getting phone calls, period. They do everything via text, and definitely not a phone call from a random number, all right? So yes, we double tap all that. We're gonna get through. But I can tell you from experience for years that Mary Lou and I, all the people that we call, because we call PRs and our top assistants, like they call from their cell phones, we always get the people that respond, that don't pick up and immediately text, who's this? And then we're able to tell them why we're calling and get people from that. The other thing is, what I just mentioned is in late June, all right, or whenever we're getting slower and we need more people, we go to all those lists of everyone who wasn't interested, all right? And we can text and say, hey, Johnny had recommended you. I know you weren't interested for summer work. We're looking for help 1 to 5 weeks. Let us know if you know anyone who might be up for it. And we had kids that were like, oh, actually, I'd be down to work for a week or 2. Or actually, I need work now. They hated their job. They quit their job. They weren't looking before, but now they are. All these different scenarios. And I'll give you guys different texts and stuff that we send out. Whatever I'm doing, I'm going to send it to you guys so you know what I'm doing. But we'll send out a message on a list. And another thing is like anyone we didn't reach. Let's say we called Adriano's list a bunch of times, right? But obviously we built the summer, keep getting PRs, we're rep driving, business is building. Everyone's list? Absolutely not. And so in 08, we really, I feel like that was the most, remember when we can't, there were so many we never reached. Diaz, look for him, starting pay. Yeah, sending snaps. Are your guys, they make their first paycheck, you're like, dude, you should snap that. They're like, and sending it out to their friends. And these are ways that we can be getting recruits. We're at a conference, whatever it is. They're doing these things. These are very powerful forms of advertising, obviously, all right? Even you guys should be putting stuff up and saying, my job rocks, and just creating, the more we can create a better name for the company through social media, the better for us. That was Ashley right there. Oh wait, what happened to my business plan? Whoa, there we go. So anyway, just being proactive again. So PRs, calling old lists, texting, and I would say text old lists. We're going to get more via text. I think our plan for the summer, and we need to finish our business plan, is going to be to call the PR, like double tap them, and if they don't pick up, text them, hey, and not leave a message, but text them, hey, your buddy John just started working with us and recommended you for a position, $15 starting pay. Let me know if you or anyone you know wants to know more about it. And I like the you or anyone you know because it opens the window more. Because then like, oh, who do I know that needs a job? And sometimes they're not, like, oh, my girlfriend needs a job. I'm like, awesome, let me have her number, and then we can reach out to the girlfriend. So anyway, definitely going out on campus. In 08, we did that right before SC2, and right after we went out to hit the second wave of like summer schools, did like a beach day, and we did like a 1 hour blitz, and a bunch of the team went together, and they were all like tied in with each other, and they all went for an hour and put out a bunch of flyers. So we'll be hitting those different waves. Then we have last summer results. So again, you can look, and by the way, you might not want to use last summer results depending, like in 2013, I didn't use those numbers when I did my 14 plan, I used 2012. Even now I'm looking last year, but I'm like, wait a second. And that's what I was planning everything with. And that's when we looked at stuff last night. She's like, I didn't even have anyone running my PR. We had no one driving it the right way, and this is something that I am very, very big on, developing someone, and I want one of my AMs, MAITs, or even for you guys, your Dom should be driving part of this program. She was my recruiting manager, helped PI with everything, but she just needed to make sure we freaking got 500 PR set per week, 400 PR set, whatever it was. Because if we did that and we were managing the girls and keeping the energy going, we were going to hit our summer goals. So that's what she was driving every day. Do the girls know the number? The number for today is 120, guys. We also have Blitz Days. By the way, the region's going to be doing contests for Blitz Days this summer with PR calling for Sundays, whatever day you pick. But that we have a huge Blitz Day that day, and there'll be money allotted, and it goes, and then it jumps to like 120 that day, goes from a contribution of like $200 to like $500. Like it's a big jump. And really staffing those days to take advantage of Blitz Days, and then for us like alley-ooping on Sunday, and we'll walk through the schedule. So for when we're going through it, like I didn't have someone just like who was their job, their focus was for 15, 20 hours a week to just watch that program and drive it with them. And Mary Lou would make PR calls too with them, by the way. It wasn't, she'd book the best PRs, my best kids. Actually, our top 2 All-Americans from that summer, are 2 of the 3. Sarah Law was from the year before, but the 2 that were recruited that summer, Adriano Diaz and Mark, we called. She called Mark, I called Adriano. When I was teaching the girls how to do it the right way, I was calling through, boom, I booked Adriano. She was doing the same thing. She had booked Mario. And we're the ones that actually set them up, So, are you in there with your guys doing it the right way? Are we driving it? So we'll talk about, again, rep-driven stuff tomorrow. So, but pick the numbers. When we looked at it, when I went on that rant, was last summer, we didn't have what we wanted. So we looked at the year where we really, like, this is what we wanted. What were our PR touches? What did it look like? And we were just blown away at those numbers. So check this out for you guys. And I want to show you guys this because we're going to have some work time after we walk through this where you can just start looking stuff up, looking at these as we cook. We're going to have some spaghetti, make the pasta, do all that. And we're going to just do some personal planning here. We have, where am I going? Vector Live. All right. So if you guys go on Vector Live, and if you want to make notes so you know where to go and look through here, when you're on Vector Live, you'll log in, and then you're going to go over to Control Panel. All right. Or excuse me, sorry, Reports. So you'll go here to Reports. You'll click Reports. All right. And when you guys click Reports, you'll see that all the way on the you'll see all the way on the left. And Ashley, can you see here? There you go. Can you see there, Ashley? Again here. All right. Can I have thumbs up? You good? Can you see it? No? Oh, are you on live stream? Because I thought she was like watching the YouTube channel while she was on with us.
Hello.
So I'd have to put this here.
You can just share your screen over.
Okay, where do I do that?
Bring it down.
Hmm?
You bring it down.
This?
Yes.
Ashley, I'm sharing screen with you. There you go. All right, cool. Thank you. So let's just put this over here anyway for the guys who are at home watching. So we've got reports. So you can go to Gulf Coast and you can select. And by the way, if you want to search around, like I know Caitlin's been looking at different people's, I wanted to look at my old Miami one. So if you guys click here where it says, you know, office or Gulf Coast, whatever it is, you can go anywhere in the nation, to any division, any region, any office to look at numbers. So I went to Eastern. I'm like, so if you look, let's say you look at the old branch reports, or you look at what you're like, I want to see what the top guys did and just kind of compare numbers. You don't want to just look at one and copy one person because everything breaks different. But, you know, look at the top 3, 4, 5 and just see the differences and, you know, what they did to kind of get a gauge. That's how I got a swing for when I was doing my Miami planning to see what I wanted to do. So we went here, and so I'd say Eastern, all right, Florida, Caribbean. Now, and you guys see right here, you can go back. You can go back to all the way to 2010, all right? So I went back to 2014 to do mine last year, but then we went back to 2012. All right, so we went here, so just to show you guys where these numbers are. So 2012, Florida, Caribbean. Huh?
No.
All right, Miami. So what I would be using for most of the reports that you're getting, you're going to just be using the advertising statistics, receptionist efficiency, because the receptionist efficiency will show you receptionists only without like the managers in it. Most of it, I think, is just through those. I mean, then there's the text efficiencies here and the reminder efficiencies for the email percentage. All right, so reminder efficiencies, email percentage. I'm telling you right now, so make a note so you don't ask me later when you're working on your numbers. Text efficiency is right here. All right, here, advertising statistics. So I can go to advertising statistics. Now look here, I can pick, so right now, I'm going to go to recruit. Do it how I know that Kevin Hahn is going to help us and make a document that's easy plug and play so we can check efficiency reports on the girls, because I do track it. My girls have a tracker when they're making calls, and I'll show it to you guys, but they have a tracker and they put, actually I just sent it to the DVM team, but
So how do you do it?
I'll show you. It's all off paper. And even if they use the app to upload, we print it out. Like the girls call off paper, or they don't call off Vector Live on PRs. So we have the script printed out. We have the stuff printed out. I'm not saying that's the right way. We just don't like that. We haven't changed to Vector Live. So if you're on Vector Live and doing that, talk to your DMs. I would stay with that. If you're on paper, though, we need to be tracking things, because the problem is that if it's on paper, one, you have to be organized, because if not, you lose papers. So you have to, like, we had binders. We haven't organized it. We put the date on top. So if someone found it around, it had the date that they launched, we can put it in the right launch file, because we have like a little filing system. So you have to have a system. So obviously it's more archaic. It's a lot easier to use Vector Live in the computer. I'm just not up with all the times, and I like calling off paper. So I'm very old school with that. So here, what was I just looking for you guys?
The paper that you use.
Tracking. Thank you. So PRs. Where does she have it? No, yeah, we're gonna go over that tomorrow. Whatever. I'll show you guys when we do, because I don't have it here, so I don't know where Lorena put it, but there's a paper, and it tracks everything, and so every hour, and at the end of their shift, they put how many hours they worked, how many calls they made, how many people they reached, how many they sat. So we track that and we look at it. We just never had anywhere to put it, you know, so it's just like all in a folder. So now at the end of the shift, we'll plug it into the computer. There's already, he's putting all the formulas, so automatically it shows the efficiency and per pay and everything. So he's putting together something awesome. So I'm excited about that. But anyway, you can look here. So for us, because we have 96% schedule, we only put in the ones we schedule. We don't put in the other ones. So that's like whatever. So we set up for Miami 3,000, or which one am I? What were we looking at? So anyway, 3,000. So we went through here. This is a different one that we looked at yesterday. But 3,374. So I'm looking at a different year, but whatever. I had the wrong year then. Maybe we were looking at he let me have access to 08. So this is 238. So that's what we're going for. 300 PRs a summer or more is our goal for West Houston. But we can look at this and see, okay, this is the show percentage. This was the schedule percentage, whatever it was. You can look at it here through getting those reports. Then if you can also go to all main sources and say all main except PR. That way you can see, because PR shows lower than regular show, right? Regular show, we want to be at about 50%, and PR show 30% is solid. I mean, nationally, it's been like 28, 29%. Now, the good PR callers get higher, that's for sure. But just so you know, it's about, if you have a 30% PR show for the summer, it's a very solid summer. You'd be one of the top in the company, all right? Just to be realistic. Now, us, as a topic, we want to have higher, because then there's like, why is it an average? Well, there's new girls who might not connect as well or whatever. Like, our shows should be 50% plus, but our girls might not connect the right way, especially when they're starting off, all right? So this right here shows you your qualified percentage. So qualified is how many of those. So what makes someone not qualified? You don't know that on the phone yet. So on the phone, we reach them. What makes them?
They're not legal.
All right. So.
Legally.
Huh?
They can't speak English. Yes. No, that's what I'm blaming Yes. I mean, here. I have done it before, but it was.
You're 16 years old.
Yeah.
Too young. All right. Too young. Maybe they already worked for Vector, so it's not a qualified. Like, oh, I already worked there, so I'm not going to count that off with the girls. If there's no way of transportation of them getting to you, like I live an hour away, I don't have a car, I can't get on the bus, that was it. But we'll have a list, but it's a few couple things. Really, a girl should be qualifying everybody. In bigger metro areas, and Jordan, we'll talk about, there's a couple different things that we do, especially during high call volume. So we'll walk through that on CAP one-on-one. Then you've got 92, then you have your schedule percentage. So how many out of the qualified calls that your girls talk to do they schedule? So we scheduled 92%, all right? Then it was out of those, how many actually showed for the interviews, and then, kept, and it goes through here, and then launch percentage off of those, all right? So you can look at the numbers there. Then you have your receptionist statistics. And again, this shows you, this will show like the same day efficiency and everything on it. So if I go to receptionist efficiency, because this one doesn't show like the same day percentage. It just goes all the way through their cycle. And we can help you, like Mary Lou, myself, any of the managers, as we're like planning. If you have, you'd be like, what is this again? Or where's this? Just, we can show you. But if you guys look here, it has reach, qualified percentage, the qualified number, how many did we schedule? What was the total number? And over here, it shows same day schedule. And that's a number that the higher that gets, the more exciting. So like, if you guys look down here, Denise had a 41% same day schedule, all right? Which is really exciting, because that impacts, that'll impact your show. So this person had 33% show, 40% show, 33% show, no, whatever, that was my Dom who booked one, 40% show on there. And so just looking through here, with the show's 24% show. That's like all the new girls go under my name when they start off and don't have an account yet. By the way, I want to tell you guys this, make sure your girls watch now. One of the new rules we put in, because they like hadn't finished their videos. If they haven't finished their videos, they can't put people in. So I like them, once we hire them, and we'll go through that, to just watch the videos before they come to training. We are going to pay them for those videos, minimum wage or whatever you decide. I do $8.50 an hour. I'm going to pay them for those 3.5 hours of time, but I want them watched before they come. So when we come, they can actually use their system versus having to put names under me or anybody else. We can actually track their numbers from the get-go, because if not, the numbers are skewed. So anyway, all your numbers are back here, so you guys can look up different percentages, look at different offices, and check that all out, all right? So then you have this section here. So I break this down. So I feel like number 4 should be later. I need to redo this, because this always kind of threw me off here, because you have 4 really should be after section 5, because we don't know the total amount of recruits until we can go through. So what I do is I look past. So there's 2 components of this, okay? The next page has the PRs launch. All this is without PRs. You guys see here it says non-PR touches, all right? So non-PR touches. So I'm looking here and I'm like, all right, so how do I find this out? I was doing it for West Houston. So I'm like, all right, so let me look here, West Houston, I'm gonna go last year, summer, so I can see what kind of touches they had in West Houston. So I'm looking here and I'm like, all right, I wanna look at their advertising statistics so I can see the difference between how many were PRs and how many was everybody else. Summer of 2014, please. All right, so I went on here and I looked, okay, what did Allen have? So Allen, they set up like 1,200 PRs or something. Yeah, 1,225 PRs. So they were using the app for sure, but they had 1,200 PRs set, all right? So that, when I looked at that, I was like, oh no, I've got that. He had a great PR show, all right? So there's a lot of rep driven definitely going on, and I know that from all his guys. So their PR show, when you have more rep driven that your top kids are involved with and getting their friends in, that percentage obviously is way higher, all right? So he had one of the top shows in the company for PR show. Then his launch percentage was only 53% of those, and his show was only 43%, where those could have been higher. So it was average show and below average launch, all right? But he launched out 47 PRs. So I was looking at that, I'm like, oh, no way. You know, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 PRs, and we just, you know, broke down the numbers so we can get to 300. So now besides that, he had 575. So for those who have never used the system, there's calls, IAPs, and touches. Does everyone see that? All right. So that's what for each source: calls, IAPs, touches. Source, calls, IAPs, touches. So for here, so this is total. All right. So like the total amount together. So here he had 575 web, 524 were IAPs, 51 were calls. Here he had 567 mailers call, 249 were IAPs, 318 were calls. Craigslist, you know, whatever, and then on-campus activity, 23 touches, 13 were IAPs, 10 were calls. So, you know, I added this up, and that's where you can see, but you don't want to just look at one summer. I would look at a couple summers, but I want to get a trend for how many incoming calls are going out, all right? Another factor is how many mailers do they send out, because if your territory, like you're going DM, you're going into a territory where there was a branch before, right? But you're a DM, well, that's going to be different because we didn't let the DM put out, you know, all the numbers, all the amount of mailers that they could, you know, even being brand new. I capped you guys at a certain amount. So let's just say you move up, you get promoted, you leave as a DDM, and someone takes over North Houston, someone else that's new, and if they look at your first summer, but let's say it's a veteran that moves in there, they're looking at your first summer, that's not a proper gauge because there's someone that can send out and wants to send out 45,000 mailers. Well, that's going to be different because we capped you lower because you were brand new going out as a DM. Still in school, you know, and so there's different variables. So you just need to check with us to make sure it's a proper, and that's what in our cap we'll look at it and make sure your numbers are right, and if not, adjust. All right. So I want to make sure your projections are proper. So we have here. So for us, whatever it was, 1,200, 1,300 projections. So I actually used that number. I went through a couple years. I said we're just going to say we do 1,300 touches. Non-PR. And so that's what we use in our business plan. We did 1,300, 1,400 as our forecast, and then I put 1,500 as our goal. So I said that's you know, what else can we create through active advertising, whatever other sources, but we'll put that there. And then, so I put that here. So I put 1,300, 1,400, 1,500, all right? So those were my projections for how many touches based on my territory. All right, some of you guys, I don't even want you to do that much. I'm like, just count on 1,300. Actually, I think we did the first two columns merely 1,300. But it's better to keep, I kept other variables the same. Sometimes you guys change too many variables and the numbers are so different. So I rather pick one number and say 1,200, 1,200, and then 1,250. Or, you know, keep this the same because these numbers will change. But again, I don't want you changing too many variables. So in terms of percentages, I want you guys to use here. I'm going to tell you right now on forecast, projection, and goal, what I feel.
I have a question.
Yeah.
What's the difference between forecast and projection?
Like forecast is almost like you know that that's what you're going to get because that's what the.
Like look at the numbers.
It's like on a low, like forecast, like at least this is going to happen because it's happened. It's trended here for the last couple years, you know, like that's going to happen. I think this will happen according to averages or what I'm going to do. We should have at least this. And then if I do things the right way, you know, here's my goal. But by the way, projection and goal, I'd probably keep that number the same.
Okay.
because we're going to change other percentages down the line. All right. So for so how we do, I wish I could write on this so I could do this like one live, but I guess I can put in here. So we have touches. So let's say we have here 1,200 touches. All right, is the touches that we're looking at for North Houston. So this is non-PR touches. Reach percentage. So if you guys look here, last year the reach percentage for the for us was, or it has the whatever qualified, it's about 90%, 85% is what we're going to count. So we're just going to say 85%. So what you do, if you want to make a note, you multiply 1,200 times 0.85. All right. So if someone has, so I'm going to multiply by 0.85. Someone do that. We're just going to do one live because we're going to do these on our own when you guys look up your stuff. What's the number, Laura? You guys can be doing these for your own right now.
1,020.
1,020, yes? Okay, cool. So now it says schedule percentage. So schedule percentage for the division. And do you have ours that has all of it filled out already that I already did? The efficiency one. All right, and then we can do that. So for schedule percentage, we have here 82%, by the way, was the region's average for schedule percentage. Gulf Coast, you guys have the one with Gulf Coast open? I don't have that in my computer. Can I have this?
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. So Gulf Coast schedule percentage, guys, was only 79%. Okay. So let's put there, in terms of schedule forecast, let's put the forecast at 80%. All right. So put the forecast at 80%. Projection, we're going to put that one 0.85. And we're going to put this 0.9. What does that mean? When I multiply this one, I'm going to go 1020 times 0.8 to get that number. When I do this column, I'm going to go, these are all going to stay the same. 0.85 across the board on reach. 0.85. If you want to change the last one to 0.9, you can, because that is the average, is a 90% reach. Like the region last year, or our division last year, it was 91% on the qualified call percentage, and then scheduled 79%. So we want to increase that. So schedule, oh, I'm sorry, I was looking at the wrong number. I apologize. I'm thinking out loud, but just copy what's here in your thing. So reach, we're going to use 85%, 85%, 90%. On schedule, you guys had an 80%. So we're going to keep it 80, 80, and then we'll go. Huh?
How are you typing in your thing and the things aren't moving?
They are moving.
Yeah, they are. They do move over.
We're so impressed.
So schedule, sorry, so let me look at this. So schedule was 79% Gulf Coast. So we'll project 80.
So we're changing that one around.
You can do 85 and then keep the last one. Don't do 9, do 85. All right, just leave it at 85. My Miami office last year was 90% schedule, and my goal is to do 90% schedule again. But according to the division, by the way, these numbers can change for you depending on your numbers. So I'm giving you a blank one based on Gulf Coast numbers. Cool? That's what I'm doing right now, is based on Gulf Coast numbers. So don't copy it. You can look at these percentages, but then we need to look at yours because maybe your territory was higher or lower, whatever it is. So I'm doing these based on the Gulf Coast averages. DMs, existing offices, you should be doing this based on your numbers. Like I did mine based off of my office to do the projections.
Where should
Yeah,
me and Francisco do?
You can use it, look at the territory that was there from last year and look at yours. You can mix them. We'll look at it in our cap too, but just play with it.
Yeah, 'cause
Oh, yeah.
that's what I was wondering. It's like Corpus had a lower income than New Orleans, but would I use my same percentages that I got in New Orleans because that's what I managed?
Look at both. Yeah.
Okay.
Use your percentages of what you manage, but use their touches.
Okay.
Got it? So use the percentage of what you manage, but use their touches. That's what I would use for guys who ran an office and are in a different territory.
Cool.
Any other questions right now? So this is blanket Gulf Coast numbers. So 0.8, 85, 85. So for show percentage, Gulf Coast had 42% show. The region had 44. All right, so Gulf Coast had a lower schedule percentage, lower show percentage. All right, I'm excited to have Lorena here to really be driving your guys' girl. She's gonna do a hell of a job this summer. The more you guys build her up, and she said, Eric, she said you did an unbelievable job building her up, and she was very thankful. She's like, man, Eric built me up so good. He really did an amazing job with that, because the girls were like, oh my God, you're right, it's so great to meet you. And they were just soaking it in. And what happened? She was able to give back, so they came back to you fired up and ready to go. So that's a perfect example of the more that you build up, whoever the leader is and whoever they're going to go see, whatever they're able to bring it right back to you at a higher level. All right? You're just stretching? Cool. I didn't know if you had wanted to make a statement. Then we have, so show percentage for the region was 42%, okay? Or excuse me, for Gulf Coast was 42%, and the region was 44. So up to you, we can say, all right, let's put 42 show percentage, or you can use yours. I want, for me, Miami had 47% non-PR show, and my goals have 50% this year. So for most of the DMs, I mean, I wouldn't be using less than 45. If we're getting less than 45, we're gonna have some trouble. So we'll just put 42, and then we'll put 45 on both of these, because the region did 44 last year. If your numbers are higher and you feel comfortable putting it higher, but if you guys notice, I kept these two the same. I kept these two the same. I keep these two the same. I don't want to change each one. Either these two are usually the same or these two are usually the same, because if not, it's too many variables. When you do the percentages, you'll see how different it becomes if you do too many changes. Then on the lower ones, I'll change other ones. So kept percentage. Kept percentage for the region was 77%. Kept percentage for the division was 74%. My office was really bad, 61%. So my goal was to do 75% this year, but I just used the 75. So across the board on this one, it's all right, 75% for us. You guys, listen up. Branches, you should be 85%. All branches. Hell yeah, you should be 100%. One of my guys, Dean, didn't even know that he could NQ anybody. Yeah, one of the biggest branches.
Where you are.
We can talk one-on-one depending on territory, but that's why I put on mine anywhere. Did I give you guys my filled out one? Okay. I put 75 to 85% depending on your area, but we need to find reason to keel. Can you teach them to sell $250? If you can, they're profitable. All right.
No, most people are sure.
Yeah, so if you're in a good area, it should be 90%. But anyway, so the division was 74%. The region was 77%. All right. So some will be higher, some will be lower. But I would say for the group minimum, I'd say 75. Some of you guys will be lower, and that's fine depending on your territory. So just you can pick the number if you want to make it higher, or you can just use across the board. Maybe here you say, okay, I want to be in the 80 because the region averaged 0.77. So I want to try to be at 80. That's my goal.
When you did the division averages, that included Louisiana, right?
Whatever Gulf Coast was last year, yeah. Then we have signed. So for signed, what does that mean? Jordan, could you grab me
Louisiana.
2 waters?
Our captain said it goes down.
Oh yeah, actually I was looking at that. I was like, whoa. Because when I was looking at a lot of the Houston ones, I was like, this is really high. And then I was like, whoa, it's really low.
We're glad you're in that area.
Thank you. All right.
65.
Yeah, my gold one was 64.
Mine was 61. I mean, it's just in the metro, heavy metro or lower income areas, it's gonna it'll be a little bit lower in certain areas of the area. So again, like I said, we'll adjust some of these numbers for you guys based on your territory. It should never be less than 60%. It really shouldn't. I've been at 55 sometimes, but I had overly whatever recruiters. You could keep 60% of your people to sell $250 of Cutco. And
most territories in the Houston area that we're working should be 75%.
mhm,
Beaumont, yes, it's going to be touch and go, but you should still probably be 70%.
mhm.
Even in Beaumont, what you shoot for.
Cool. All right. Then sign. So in terms of signing, by the way, if you guys look, is everyone the region had that would be accept. Cool. The accept percentage is signed.
Yours should be higher.
Does everyone know what that means?
Those are numbers that you're using as suggestions to us, but then we're going to be using our numbers.
I'm saying for those who are blanket or whatever, these are the region averages.
Okay,
You
okay,
adjust.
that's fine, okay.
Like I said, those who ran offices and you have your numbers, you can just do yours.
Okay.
Accept percentage is the same as signed. Okay? The accept percentage for the Southwest region was 89%. Gulf Coast, 88%. So we're like right on there. Miami was 90%. I use that across the board. I'm signing 90% of my people. That's safe for all of us to put. If you want to go lower, but I would use 0.9 across the board on sign percentage. All right. Then you have your show year. Some had great shows. Some people had very not so great. 42% show. All right. I was pissed last summer, and I didn't even realize we had a 46% show. So I was like, all right. This year I'm using 40. I always use 45% because I'm gonna have all new recruiters, all new. So that's like the mix of it. If you have completely fresh staff, you should be running all your interviews. Then it might be higher. If you have all new recruiters, excuse me. I usually use and then 45 for the last. So according to the region, this might be across the board is 0.4. You guys can put 0.4, 0.4, and then the last one, 0.45. If you feel confident, maybe you're like 0.45, 0.5 if you're running all your interviews and you already know you have a higher percentage. So if you're running the majority and you know your show, throw that on there, and maybe your goal is to make it a couple points higher, all right? Launch percentage for Gulf Coast last year made me want to throw up a little bit, but 54% launch, all right? Yeah, the region was 62%. So we are one of the divisions that brought the region's average down, all right? So we'll be doing a lot of stuff, and now with the 2-day training, it's something that the first couple times will be glitches. And I was talking with a couple of different DVMs, and Stacey had told me too. He goes, you know, the first couple times it was a little like struggle, and the launches were kind of off because it was just things were all kind of off. But once we got it down, we definitely saw an increase for all of our people in launch percentage, where they were launching 75, 80%, you know, of their training classes on the 2-day training. So
we moved to 2-day this year, and we're at 81% in fall solution.
Nice. That's awesome. All right, sweet. So we're hoping with that change, the goal was to have a much higher launch percentage with that change. So we're hoping, I'm going to say, let's use the region. Let's not use GCK's 54%. Let's just use the region 62. You know, for, again, if you don't have numbers to look at, just compare to that. Say 0.62 and then 0.65. And the last one, use 0.7. Because the whole objective of our training is we should be launching 70% plus of people with our new training. So that would be the ultimate goal, is to be at 70% or more. And great job, Cody, being at 81% for the year. So now we work the numbers, because the PRs are going to be separate. So now we look at this and we say, all right, schedule percentage. So let's rock some numbers. Take out your calculator, just do it. So you have like one run through, and we could all do this together. All right. So we were at 1020. So we had reached 1,020 people. Everyone good?
Cool.
All right. So 1,020 people times 0.8. We're going to sign 80% of them, which means, or schedule, sorry. So we just scheduled 816 of those people. All right. Now, out of those people that we scheduled for the interview, 40 for the region, 42% showed. So we're going to multiply 816 times 0.42. That means that we had 342 people show up for interviews. Everyone with me? And 3/4 of a person. But we'll just leave it at 342. All right. Then you multiply. I just leave it in the calculator. Actually, I don't like clear it. I just keep going when I do this like quickly. So now the next thing is I want to know how many kept. So I'm going to go times 0.75. All right. So now I'm at. Well, I just kept I didn't round when I left in the calculator. Then I go times 0.9, 90% of them I'm signing is 231. 40% of them, according to region average, are showing. So that means I had 92.5. I'm just gonna put here 92, but I'm gonna leave it in my calculator as is. And then we're launching 62%, so 0.62. So that means, according to these numbers, I will launch 57 people off 1,200 touches according to the forecast. All right, I should get at least that. So now PRs, by the way, is 100% in your guys' control and what you want to get done. This is, did I have the document? Did I send it to you guys?
What's it called?
I don't know. I know what it looks like.
Summer DMA, template, weekly PR set target.
Maybe it's not weekly PR. No, not that. It was the one that I had just made randomly by hand and they typed it up for me for our meeting. And I thought I had gotten it back from, hold on, who was it? Christy. Give me 1 second, because this is,
Funnel efficiency.
yeah, no. Who is that? Is that from me or from Beth? This is just like a
I just
random.
downloaded everything you sent. So what's it supposed to look like?
No, no staff, was your
It's-
timeline stuff?
It is,
Staff worry as far as coverage.
Mary Lou, do you have the one that says like starts out with 200 hours at the top? Just like a ghetto
That's what I was.
typed out document that I thought I made copies of. Let me just look here. Christy sent it to me. I remember she told me she did. Just break down some numbers. Come on, Warriors.
Is this the expense model?
Christy. I've been going through a lot of documents, so I could have totally like skipped it in the attachments. So where
Notes
is,
from DVM.
what day was I at the DVM meeting? Can you work backwards?
Right there, notes from DVM.
No, not that. There was something she typed for me.
It was close to that.
Where's the notes? Where do you see notes from? Where'd it go? Maybe she attached all the documents to this one. Oh yeah, thank you. Okay, this is it. Ready? This, so when it comes to PRs, you guys can make a decision. We have to look at how much funding you have starting off. It might be a little bit less, but this is something you do want to pour into, but we need to be able to fund it. Here's what I'll tell you. It is 100% profitable from the beginning, but we need to plan properly obviously with launches, because if you have no names and they're just sitting there, as long as they're calling, we're profitable. So we'll look at the hours and see what it is, but because we need to feed this funnel, all right? But this is my, when I got into gold, like in mid-May, late May, I'll go into this where I do 200 hours. But starting off, even in the beginning of May, we'll have 100 PR calling hours. So there's 100 hours. Let's say we're paying $9 an hour, right? $900 investment there. Now they're not calling the whole time. What I did is I broke it down into 12 and a half, 8-hour shifts, all right? Because they're calling really for 7 hours, but then 1 hour's inputting and breaks, all right? So out of those 100 paid hours, 87 and a half of them, they're calling, all right? There are a lot of documents. I'm on a PR task force. You can look at stuff. Matt King, to a T, tracked everything last year with Charlotte and the team. They tracked everything. And basically the number they came up with across the boards was 2 per hour, 1.7 to 2 point something, but on average it was about 2 per hour. So there was different ways to average it, whether going this way or this way, but he showed us that. So 1.5, if you only have 1.5 set, by the way, this is what an average office will have if you're not paying attention to the program. If you're paying attention to the program, you should have 2. I will talk about this at kickoff, so I'm not going to go into the details of all this. You'll hear me off on this, but here the numbers out. 27%. There's the 28.35 people that we kept. 90% of those guys should be signed any of your interview. That's 25.5 signed. Now, I didn't use PR shows. And by the way, PR shows should typically be higher, all right, than the regular like non-PRs. And it can get skewed for different reasons, but in general, it should be higher. So I just used the average region show, which the average region show was 42%, all right, for training. So that would be 10.71 show up, times the average region launch was 62%. Again, we're looking to take that over 70, just in general with these PRs. We hope that's a lot higher, all right? I hope we're all on the Cody program launching 80% plus this summer. It's gonna be very exciting. This gives us 6.64 launched. The region had 1,500 PPR, not us. Our PR productivity for Gulf Coast was 1834, okay? So ours, in my notes when I like actually hand wrote them, which I don't know where they are now. Huh? No, just productivity, career, whatever, just PPR. I had this handwritten in one of my folders, but because I did our region one was 1,800 net profit plus, 1,800 plus net profit. But here, region PPR is 1,500, right? If you don't know, off the first 1,000, you earn $250. Off the next, you earn 20%. So $350 that we earned off of these launches. That means we made $2,324 plus 166. What's 166 come from?
$25 a head for launching.
Yep. All right. $25 a head for launching. So now my total profit is $24.90. All right. Now I subtracted my initial investment plus, that should have been 50, not 150, but that was a typo. $50 to $100 for contests. What is that $50 to $100 for contests? I'm going to walk through that at kickoff, okay? But there's a lot of different things you can do, and I'll show you guys like different tracking methods and all that. And actually, we're going to go through Rep Driven tomorrow together more in detail, but we'll walk through that. I forgot I'm doing that with you guys first. Then, so that means net profit ends up being anywhere from $1,540, to $1,490 is your net profit. So I wanted to show this to the DVM team, because they're looking at my numbers and they're like, you set up 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, however many PRs. They're like, that's a lot of money that you're spending. I said, oh yeah? And I like did it by hand. And I was like, boom. I said, do you guys feel we can get 1.5 PR set per hour? And like, oh yeah, I mean, it should be closer to 2. Yeah, exactly. So even on the low end, with these averages, it is 100% profitable. Now, do you have the numbers? Is it being watched? Here's where it's unprofitable. Ready? You have 10 PR callers that are not being watched. What are they doing? My boyfriend got in a fight with me, and oh my God, what did you do on Saturday? And that's very unprofitable. But if we have someone in there who's like, come on, girls, next hour, again, we're going to do Rep Driven tomorrow. You could go as big as you want. I could have 20 PR callers if I have the names to fuel it. I could have 20 PR callers, and it's going to be 100% profitable as long as I have the names to fuel it. So Scott Dennis, back in the day, he made a document where he showed if you have this, per launch. So every week when our launches would happen, he would show us the profitable, but we had the last week's names too, but he'd say, okay, you launched 10, all right, you should be collecting 80 or more names per head. If you're not, you're losing a lot of money. And so we have to talk about PR collection and make sure we're maximizing that the right way. So 80 PRs, that's the standard in the Eastern region, all right? So that you have more than enough names to funnel this. So if you have that, you should have 800 new names, off of 10 launches, which means at 1.5 with play and like whatever. He just did this. Scott loves numbers, but he broke it down and he would show us like when we set too low or how many we should be setting for the week if we're maximizing our return. Bottom line, we need to make sure we're maximizing our interview criteria names. So we'll go over that tomorrow. Again, this is going to be a big discussion tomorrow. It's going to be all PR driven because after looking at that last night, I was like, you know what? I'm going to do advanced training later. If you guys can get on, what I would call the Kathy program, which is what Dave Powders got on the next year, and then Trey Ketchum, and then Ben Jackson, Kate Arbuthnot, and every single, if you guys look at SLC Talks for PRs, who always gives it? I think out of the last 7 or 8 years, someone from the Eastern region has given it almost every time. I think maybe we missed one or twice, but someone, because but this is, and it's not the Rep Driven, really that aspect of it, I stole from Josh Shirales' stuff in 2011 and we implemented on a higher level, okay? So I stole that. I'm like, oh, I like that. I've always done Rep Driven. Those have always been my best PRs, but not in a program like that. I just be talking to my shark going, dude, I need to meet your friends. Like, get someone on the phone for me. And I talked to them, but a structured thing that we had. So I started the structured aspect of it in 2012 and we killed it, all right? And everybody else got on that afterwards. But PRs, and I was talking to Kevin Hanna yesterday, I said, PRs, and Scott Dennis will give it full, for the program that it has evolved to today, started from my original manager, who was Scott Dennis's pilot sales manager, by the way. And it wasn't even Scott's idea was, dude, we should get some of our good kids' friends, you know? And they'd like, you know, people always talk about that recruiting people, but he's like, we should really make it a focus to target our top people, right? So John Hoffenberg was his pilot when he was, you know, at school at Wharton back in the day. John Hoffenberg ran my interview in West Palm Beach, Florida, trained me. I was an assistant manager with him. And because the territory, that was a territory, and this is where I learned to create and not collect, that the collection aspect of it was not that exciting. In South Florida, from Miami to West Palm, we have a very, very large refugee Haitian population that comes over. All right, I know every part has their versions of this, and they all always apply. Oh, always. All right. And so we have a large influx of not the best qualified people. That when we have really good people in that territory too, we have to find them. And that was the thing always in Miami and stuff too. Like, you have to go out and get the good kids. All right. They will naturally apply during a couple months when they're looking for summer work, but the rest of the year we go out there and find them, you know, because those good kids don't really need work, but they're like, oh, cool, yeah, I'll do that. So John was hardcore about that. So my first real job as an AM, by the way, back in 2003 spring, was to be a PR caller. And I freaking mastered this crap, and I got really good at it. And that's how we had a $750,000 a year in John's office, is driving this PR program. So when I went to branch, that's what I knew. How did I do 146 grand as a branch, not knowing what the hell I was doing, not going through any kind of training like this, not anything. I knew how to sell some Cutco, and I knew how to get PRs because that's all I ever did. And I just got PRs from my friend from college, rope drove him, and got Lauren Bradley, who hit FSM, sold 38K that summer. PR'd one of my other friends who had a cousin over in Sarasota, got their friend, and they sold 20K, and one sold 15K. And then got Danielle Harnish, and she sold like 40K. And it wasn't the most profitable 146 grand, but I ended up developing Casey Downing, over 3 FSMs that summer that were developed, a couple other, and then just a bunch of smaller kids. But I just PR'd some of them. I had no idea what I was doing. And then I went out and sold as well, all right? So that's something that I was like, oh, well, that was cool. So it's always been a part of my program, and it's really how every office of mine has been built, is through PRs. And I've seen the program evolve, and it's really exciting to where it's at. And we're going to go through this tomorrow. You guys are hearing me say so many things again when I speak in the kickoff. But the fact is, this is a business. This is a side of the business that we control at all times. Just like we're getting sharp people right now from sending. And there's all different ways. And again, the times are going to keep innovating. From people saying, oh, let's use snaps, it's whatever. People spreading word, like, oh, what's your job, dude? You know, and just what are different ways that we can get word out in a positive way, and get more of these guys in. But then we need people to call those people. We need people ready to answer those phones. So as much as you have to look at first. So for you guys, as you do your business plans, veteran DMs, I really want you guys to look at, don't look at the money aspect when you plan this. What you do is you go through your calendar and you look at okay, I have this many launches. Okay, we should be, have this many names. Plus I have my interviews. I should be averaging 5 names per interview. Are you guys with me, veterans? And for you guys too, we look at, okay, if I'm running 10 interviews in a week, right? And I'm averaging 5 post PRs, that's 50 PR names, all right? If I launch out this many people. So just looking at that and seeing, okay, and then go a little bit, and then put an extra 5 to 10 hours on top of that. And so I sent like different suggestions so you can look at as you're doing it. You guys you'll do your best you can, and then we're gonna go over it in our caps. We'll do a planning session together, but just looking at how many, and for branches, I'm gonna tell you how many PR hours you should have. We're not gonna go through that together. You guys figure your stuff out, and then we'll adjust it. Branches, and like, just do this. All right, so when we get to that, you don't need to worry about that section. And I'll tell you how many hours of coverage you should have, and then you can increase from there. But it is, the only thing I say is don't plan based on how much money do I want to spend, based on how much can I fuel, because there's no limit to that program as long as you have the names and everything to call, all right? So we'll go through that. And if you're not maximizing the amount of names, that's another talk for another day, but we've got to make sure that we're fueling that. So back to the business plan we've got here. So you guys can do all the time. So now the next thing is PRs launch. So how many PRs do I want to launch for the summer? That's really up to you. You want to plan on, did I put the number like 18 touches per launch on PRs or something. But what was yours?
No, that's fine. That's all.
I think I had seen that at SLC and I did throw up in my mouth.
Yeah. Alon 71, man.
What should it be? What should
All
it
right. There's even, this was really bad that year. We had horrible
That
this
was
year.
West
There's been different years where
be?
we had like,
West Houston.
huh?
That's West Houston.
Oh yeah. I was like, I never had that bad. But that's because their show was not where like, it just wasn't great. But regardless,
You need schedule to launch?
um,
Touch to launch. You need
excuse me,
schedule to
for PRs, yes, PR
Schedule.
scheduled to launch.
Oh.
Yeah.
launch. It's sometimes
Touches
hard
per
to
launch is for non-PR, huh?
Yeah, it's sometimes hard to look when you.
We have
when it says touch
to,
launch, that's why it's so hard because we enter everything in whether they schedule or not.
yes, so your guys are different. So with,
So you cut that in half.
So what-
you can do, let's do 20. What number do you use for, what's your schedule to launch on PRs?
Your touch launch was 23.5.
What's yours?
Yeah. Well, no, it's way back in the day.
This past year was.
Or just take.
What did I use? What did we use in our business plan?
By your schedule.
For,
Yeah, 51.9 and then you
Mel, what do you
multiply by
use?
your schedule.
hmm?
What do you use?
I'm looking at my.
51.9 and then you multiply. or
What do you have?
Yeah, so like,
20?
I would
Do
say.
you use paper or like?
What?
Do they upload their
This is
list?
based off of schedule to launch.
How do you do
Right.
that? How do you find it?
I took the schedule and divided by
I usually use 22, so that works.
But mine was 37.
Yours was 37. A really efficient one is 18. 20 is good, all right? That's good. 20 to 22 is good. 25 or more is not so good. All right, so we can use, I like 22, somewhere in the middle there. But if you guys want to plan on 20, by the way, actually 25 for most of the nation would be good. Like he had 37. So that's not so bueno. So let's say we use 25 schedule per launch. So what does that mean? However many I want to launch, I have to multiply by 25, and that's how many I have to schedule. All right. So PRs launch. So just to know in your schedule. So if I'm like, all right, so let me break this. Can I have a whiteboard, or do you guys really need it? All right. Because I'm just like very visual. You want to launch out. So do you guys have a number in your head of how many PRs you want to launch this summer? Has anyone thought about this for their office at all yet?
Yeah.
As many as I can.
I have my we must launch 300.
As much as we can.
Do you have a do or die? 100, 150? What's a do or die number?
But there-
It's not really.
Huh?
That's-
No, because you can keep hiring more people.
I know.
I'm going for 150.
150. Okay. Anyone else have a number they know for PRs they're going for?
What are you going for?
300.
Oh, 300.
So 200, 200 is really good. That's what I've averaged, 200, 230 on most times. But we did 400 one summer. Huh? Okay, so watch. Ready? We'll go